Okay, let's just dive right in. We've all got that go-to playlist, right? The one we slap on when the pressure is just on. But what if I told you there's a scientifically proven best way to use music to chill out? Today, we're going to see the ultimate showdown: sound versus silence versus stress.
I mean, just think back to that last all-nighter before a big final. You've got the books, the coffee, and of course, the headphones. It just feels right, doesn't it? A way to kind of wall off the world and just get in the zone. Well, turns out you are definitely not the only one doing this.
And hey, this isn't just some feeling or a hunch. A brand new, massive super study has literally sifted through years of research to find the final answer. You know, what works, what's a waste of time, and get this, what might actually be making your stress worse. And trust me, some of these findings are going to surprise you.
Okay, so first, let's just set the stage here, because we're not talking about a small problem. For students especially, this kind of anxiety, it's a huge roadblock to not just success, but to just feeling okay.
So, what is anxiety really? When we say that word, what do we mean? Well, the American Psychological Association defines it as this: future-oriented state. It's not about a tiger jumping at you right now. No, it's about the thought of a tiger that might jump out later. It's that anticipation that puts your whole body and mind on red alert.
And look, for anyone in college or university, this is a huge deal. The constant pressure from exams, papers, presentations, I mean, just the sheer weight of it all can totally mess with your grades, your health, your whole life, really. Which brings us to a possible solution, and it's one that's super accessible, it's cheap, heck, it's probably in your pocket right now. But could music actually be a kind of medicine? Let's find out.
And that's the big question, isn't it? We all instinctively put on some tunes to relax. But is there a perfect recipe, a specific method that science can point to and say, yep, that's the best one? Well, that is exactly what these researchers wanted to know.
And you know, there's some really solid science backing this up. Brain scans show that music isn't just noise. It's actually tapping directly into your brain's reward system. We're talking the same circuits that handle emotion and motivation. It can even kickstart a release of dopamine, you know, that feel-good chemical. Pretty cool, right?
Okay, so the theory sounds great, but how do you actually prove it? Well, you do what any good scientist would do. You throw all the options into a ring and make them fight it out. Let's see how this competition went down. All right, to get a really solid answer, these researchers didn't just do one little experiment. Oh no. They did something called a network meta-analysis. Just think of it like the Olympics of scientific studies. They take all the best gold medal research out there and combine it to find the one ultimate champion. And when I say they were picky, I mean they were intense. They started with more than 200 studies and were just ruthless. They cut out anything that wasn't a top-tier gold standard experiment. In the end, only the 9 absolute best studies made it through. That's why we can be so confident in these results. So who were the contenders in this big showdown? Well, in one corner, you had the music-based approaches, just plain old listening. Listening paired with aromatherapy, and even actively playing music. And in the other corner, you had the control group, just sitting in silence, listening to white noise, or doing absolutely nothing. Okay, the stage is set, the competitors are in their corners. It's time to announce the champion.
First up, we're looking at what scientists call state anxiety. Basically, that's just the stress you feel in the moment, you know, right before a big speech or a tough conversation. So, for that kind of stress, who came out on top?
Now, before I show you the chart, here's a super simple way to read it. There's a line right down the middle. Think of that as zero effect. If something is on the left side of that line, it worked. It lowered anxiety. But if it's on the right, well, that means it actually made things worse.
And boom, the results are in. The clear, undisputed winner for crushing that everyday anxiety? It's music plus aromatherapy with an absolutely incredible 96.5% effectiveness score. Just listening to music on its own did great too. But check this out. White noise? It did basically nothing.
Actually, scratch that. It was worse than nothing. The study actually found that white noise, you know, that sound so many people use to focus, it was linked to a significant increase in anxiety. That is a total game changer, and the exact opposite of what most of us have been led to believe. Okay, wow. But what about the big one? I'm talking about that very specific high-pressure stress of a final exam. You know, test anxiety. Did our champion keep the crown, or did we see an upset?
And there it is. Once again, music and aromatherapy come out on top. It's an absolute powerhouse with a nearly identical score of 96.4%. Music by itself is still a solid silver medalist, and sitting in silence, well, it helps a little. But that 1-2 punch of sound and scent, it's just unbeatable.
So we know what works. Now for the really fun part. Why does it work? What is actually going on inside your head when this happens? It really is a 1-2 punch for your brain. First, the music comes in through your ears and gets to work on the parts of your brain that control your emotions. Then, at the exact same time, the aromatherapy uses your sense of smell, which is like a superhighway to your brain, to tell it to release calming chemicals like serotonin and dopamine. It's an amazing tag team.
And remember how just listening to music beat playing it? Well, the researchers think that's because passive listening is just easier on your brain. When you're already stressed out, your brain is working overtime. It doesn't have a lot of extra processing power to spare. Just listening lets you get the benefits without making your brain do any more work.
So here's the bottom line. The big takeaway. If you're a student and you want the absolute best, scientifically proven way to chill out before an exam, the science is crystal clear. Get a good playlist, find a calming scent like lavender, and just let yourself listen. That is the most powerful strategy we have, period.
And that really leaves us with one final fascinating question, doesn't it? I mean, if something as simple as combining music and a pleasant scent can have such a huge impact on anxiety, what else is out there? What other simple multi-sensory combos are just waiting for us to discover to help us all feel a little better?